There we go. Hi, everybody. I'm back. And I have
And I'm
Mandy back
here.
too. Yay.
I'm here now too. Yay.
You don't have to listen to me drone on for forever. We have a night. First I'm going to get out of the way the fact that we are recording this on Saturday night. Yes, I'm going to do this as a premiere tomorrow. Keep a lookout on the Instagrams and the threads for the actual time. I will decide once I finish the recording, check to make sure everything is good. And yeah. So and then it'll be there. Because tomorrow's Sunday and my brain cells are only firing so quickly this evening. But I want to start by getting out of the way that I fully recognize that the world is in chaos this evening.
Indeed.
Things are happening. It is very serious. I understand this. For at least tonight, we are going to aim for some giggles. I have pulled up some news things to go over. News thing. I pulled up some other stuff to go over, as well as the state's response to Baldwin's "I don't want a trial, leave me alone" filing, which apparently took over 300 pages to do. Oh yeah, and Carrie Morrissey responded in kind. It was
300 pages?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
Wow. That's
To which the state was like, challenge accepted.
Right? That just feels like such an obvious push for like, just drown them in paperwork and hope that they don't read it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't read this whole brief. Just give them whatever you want.
Pretty much. I think that may have been the plan. I'm not sure. So we have that, but we also do fully recognize the current state of affairs and that we may have to have some more serious conversations and some more delicate things coming up. However, for this evening, for Sunday, whenever this drops, what we're going to do, if we have the privilege to be able to do so, is we're going to set that aside. And we are going to enjoy some light mockery. Maybe even some advanced and intermediate mockery. Of more than one human this evening. And hopefully we're going to laugh a little, and we're going to have our nice little privilege bubble here where we can do that. How'd I do, Mandy? I'm trying to.
No, I think the other thing is, I mean, depending on how things look by tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that, we may not be able to be lighthearted for a while. So we're trying to get this one in under the wire, if you will.
Exactly.
But also hoping that we'll wake up tomorrow and find that somehow people are figuring out how to be less destructive people.
So. That would be amazing. That would be, and I have some thoughts on. No, don't go with that blanket, Aurora. We're gonna be a little cold. Sorry, I have one blanket that just it creates electricity on a level that I cannot explain to you. So when I put it on my knees to keep my legs warm, because it's still spring in Maine.
Your hair burst into flames. Yeah.
Yes. Or what happened the other day, I was on a meeting at work and I hear crackle, crackle, crackle and went, oh no. And then electric shocks in my ears.
Ouch.
It was painful, and we don't need to have that happen this evening. So, disclaimers out of the way. Welcome back. Did I say that? Did I say welcome back to our lovely audience? I don't know if I did.
I don't either. I think we just said we were back because it's all about us, really.
We have camera, we have mic. Hi, internet. Hi. And it's the internet, and I don't know when you're actually watching us. It could be 2 weeks from now. I have no idea.
Yes, very true, very
Um,
true.
so, because that's how the internet works. But I think right now what I'm gonna do, I think it's intro time. Is it intro
Indeed.
time?
Roll that intro.
Hello and welcome to the Unfiltered Tea, a show where we say all the things you wish the newscasters said, unscripted and unfiltered. We talk about news, politics, and entertainment, so pull up your soapbox, pour yourself a cuppa, and let's go. So, I have a news article on 50 Cent and the shade he's been throwing at P. Diddy online. If you have not checked out his Twitter, I swear, I keep my Twitter so that I know what's happening with Runkle Bailey, because sometimes his Twitter is just fire.
Yeah.
Same with Rob from Lawn Lumber. Same. There are a few others. Neil Gaiman is still on there here and there.
Yes.
And since all the P. Diddy stuff dropped and is like starting up, the 50 Cent shade towards Diddy has been delightful. The man has not made it to my coffee list yet, but he's working on it. The shade he's throwing. So I have a little article on that. I also have Matt. I also have the Jesse Waters thing. Where do we want to start, Mandy? Do we want to go like dark, ridiculous Baldwin?
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that. I like that.
So we will start with this. Let's see if I can find the good stuff here. Okay. This is mostly, so for those of you who don't know, how are you watching us and don't know some of these things? Anyway, Diddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs, what name is he going by now? Who knows? Has been in the news. This has a lot of ads, by the way, just FYI. So we got a lot of ads, and I cannot fix this as much as I want to. Do we record live? Why, yes, we do. Have I finished my thought before I pull this up? No, but I should finish my thought. And Mandy is being an excellent producer behind the scenes and reminding me of some things. So before I do all of that, I'm going to do the thing. I created. So I have been having fun on Canva. Not sponsored. I have fun making things sometimes, and I made a thing for exactly the next couple of segments. So.
Love that. I feel like I really do.
So for those of you who have somehow missed it, looks like Diddy is in a Weinstein island owning man whose name starts with E that every platform seems to hate.
Yes.
It seems as though Diddy is among that crowd, based on the allegations in lawsuits and the fact that the feds have now raided his homes and more lawsuits and more accusations.
Well, and like the other folks you named, I mean, the allegations just keep coming. It's insane. Yeah. I mean, at the same time, having been through some of those other names that you dropped just a few minutes ago, it's less surprising than I guess it would have been a few years back. But it's, I mean, every time I think, okay, that's a lot, there's more. There's just,
yeah. And there's, for me, a lot of folks who know me also know that I tend to look at these things like a math problem, right? So, for example, Johnny Depp had one accuser, not counting a whole lot of legacy media that seemed to have a narrative in their head that facts and evidence couldn't and still haven't shaken out of their head yet, but okay. But that was one person. And I'm not saying that there aren't times where two people can have a bad relationship and accuse each other of things and that sort of thing. But for me, it's a math problem. In Depp's case, his accuser routinely dated people who sprouted bruises on their faces while she was dating them. And they stopped sprouting those bruises when they were broken up, Depp being one of them. At a certain point, for me, it's a math problem. If every single person that she dates suddenly starts walking into walls, I feel like maybe she's got something to do with that. And with what is it? Russell Brand is another one who, again, it's a math problem. When you've got this many people all saying the same sort of, all slinging the same sort of accusations, and this many people who have something to gain from that, and this many people who have something to lose from that, is a math problem. Cosby is the same way. Weinstein is the same way. And Diddy, here we are. The allegations just keep rolling in. They have a certain theme to them. So innocent until proven guilty, yes. But at a certain point, evidence could always change my mind.
Sure.
It's just the more evidence that comes out isn't real favorable to him or his son or things. And 50 Cent on Twitter has been just throwing all of the shade. And it has been delightful, which leads me to this. Lord, I wish I could make this bigger. Am I going to try something, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, I am. Is it working? No. Hi, guys. Welcome to Aurora's frustration on... Hi. Sorry. Problems. Can I make us bigger? Why am I trying to figure this out while we're recording? Because I'm me. This is why you come here and spend time with us.
Yeah. Have fun watching us figure it out.
we have such a good time. So this is from, as we can see from all of the ads, this is from Forbes. But Andy, do you know who Jason Derulo is? Because this is where I'm going to admit that I live under a rock and I have no idea who this person is.
Oh, why would you ask me that while we're recording? I want to say yes, but I'm Googling as fast as my little fingers can go.
Good. Because I don't know. While you Google, I am going to go through some of this article because apparently he made some comment about innocent until proven guilty with all of the nastiness there. And Derulo told DM sentences, reading. Let me try that again. Derulo told TMZ earlier this week he agrees with the idea that people should be considered innocent until proven guilty, though he did not comment further on the numerous allegations and lawsuits filed against Combs. Again, I sit there and say, yes, evidence can change my mind.
Yeah.
So far, the people making allegations have brought the receipts. So that's where I stand on that. And his comments sparked a rebuttal from 50 Cent, who posted on Instagram urging Derulo to shut the fuck up and joking that he might find Derulo on one of them tapes, referring to why do these people always film stuff? Every single one of them keeps records of this. To stop writing books, stop putting everything on film. Why am I saying this? No, keep criming badly.
Yeah, please. No, but I always wonder, like the big, I don't know, this is a horrible comparison. I'm going to make it anyway. The big serial killer cases, they're usually trophies, right? Is it like that? Is it like this? Is that part of being that like detached from reality, or that feeling that entitled to get away with things, that you're like, it's okay that I have evidence. No one will ever catch me. They won't. I don't know. But in this day and age, I don't understand how anybody thinks that they can keep these things a secret. Like, look at how much evidence comes out every day about every freaking thing, because it's just
your
y'all are stupid. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. You're stupid. You're dumb.
Oh yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah, your technology always is going to tell on you. These days, your car is going to tell on you. So don't think you can turn your phone off, leave it at home, and your car isn't going to tell on you, because Murdoch's car told on him.
Yep. Now that they've all got, the newer cars all have freaking GPS. They know where you are.
They
all
do.
the time.
And if you think that stuff can't get downloaded, there's a nerd that can find the info every time. And I mean that in the best possible way.
You're wrong.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. Yeah. You can delete it off your phone.
It's deleted from where you can find it. It's not deleted from where everybody can find it. So.
Yep.
Anyway.
Jason
Derulo has talked dirty to me. That's Jason Derulo.
So the tapes comment, keep reading, Aurora. Have I watched a lot of Emily D. Baker this week? Yes. My apologies if I've taken some of her vernacular, but Mandy can call me out on that because she's known me for long enough to know what I say normally and what I've absorbed. It is a neurospicy trait. If we were wondering if I was neurospicy or not, I recognize the spongy.
Spoiler alert. We're neurospicy.
So the tapes comment likely refers to producer Rodney Lil Rod James. Allegation that Combs possesses, sorry, that was my brain interrupting itself with a different thought. Allegation that Combs possesses compromising footage of the guests he invited to his parties. Combs denied all of the allegations. Of course he did, and has video evidence, and other people have video evidence. Sure. In Jones's lawsuit through his lawyers, Derulo fired back at 50 Cent in an Instagram post featuring an edited video of Derulo punching another person with 50 Cent's face superimposed. Sure.
Cute.
Yeah. Many of the commenters, this is one of the bits that I wanted to get to. Many of the commenters on Derulo's post warned him about picking a fight with 50 Cent, who is known for his long-running celebrity feuds. This I do know.
Yes.
Including his decades-long beef with Combs, who 50 Cent has repeatedly mocked in his legal troubles. That's most of this article that I really wanted to get through on that one, because it was entertaining. I don't think there's a lot more. Yeah, no. Because then it goes into some other stuff that 50 Cent has said about this whole thing. All I can tell you is that what I should have done is pull up his Twitter before doing this.
That's what I was, yeah.
But that means that I have to pull up my Twitter on the computer, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that I have my password to do that. So we will circle back to that because this is not over. And actually, I did check, and there wasn't anything specific that I wanted to bring out. It's just the shade. 50 Cent is a shady queen, and I don't know if he's gonna get cranky about me saying that. I'm not really sure. I don't really care. He's a shady queen, is a compliment. Run with that. So yeah. Oh no, I missed one piece. I missed one piece because it was delightful. Let me see if I can bring it back. Can I bring it back? Can I bring it back? Can I bring it back? Haha. Yes. This. So after the agents raided his home, this, I was like, yep, you have that correct, sir. Now it's not did he do it, it's did he done. They don't come like that unless they got a case. Correct.
Yes, that's hilarious.
You are correct, sir. The feds do not raid your home and arrest your adult son if they don't have a real good idea of what you did. Oh, and then when 50 Cent alleged in a diss track that Combs who knew who shot the notorious B.I.G. This is where these things are going to get interesting because there is notions. Somebody wrote a book, stop writing books, about their involvement. I'm not even going to try with the name because it's in my head, but it's not at instant recall right now. Wrote a book about the 1996 killing of Tupac. And there is notion that Diddy's name is mentioned somewhere in all that, and 50 Cent seems to think so. Oh yeah, his attorneys denied any wrongdoing. I think I honestly, truly, honestly think that as things come out, we're gonna spend 6 months going, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Diddy did what? Although, can we all take a moment, again, mockery, fun, which I probably shouldn't do, but also you went with the name P. Diddy, and I know you've had like 90 different names, and Love was the most recent one, and all of that, and you can't keep a name for longer than I can keep a side project. But also, most of us know you as Diddy, and we are going to have a lot of fun. There's so many ways to use that.
Yeah.
As we discuss the allegations that have come out. Because again, math. The math is not in your favor, sir.
Not so far. Not so far.
Not even a little. So, speaking of math, I am going to swoop.
Yes, lovely segue. I like that. I like that.
Speaking of math, let me do the swoop. No, swoop. Takes me twice every time, and I have to say swoop because
That's like when your dog yawns. You have to say big yawn or else the dog didn't actually yawn. That's how that works.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Same with big stretch.
Yes, and big stretch.
Yes. Especially when you go big stretch and then the dog looks at you like, why are humans so weird?
I know. Are you broken? What just happened?
So, Math.
Yes.
Mandy
For those
is
who
not
don't know,
famous.
I have a degree in math, so I am expecting to really enjoy what's coming our way.
Well, and I work in math. I mean, it's
Indeed.
different math. I can't do the math that you do at all.
I don't do it anymore. I did it for my degree, and then it was like, no, I don't use that anymore. Put it on the shelf. Great thing about things like calculus and chaos theory, and if you're not using it, it's kind of like learning a language, right? If you're not speaking that language for a long time, you lose some of the words.
Oh, that's too bad.
So, yeah.
Okay. I'm getting slightly better with some of my technology. So you have not seen this Jesse Waters?
I've not. I've seen things referencing it, but nothing that has given me the text of what happened. So let's watch this.
I pulled up just a little clip. We're not going to listen to a lot of this, but we are going to listen to the basic little clip here.
You're very good at math, so see if you can do this in your head. You probably can. If you're making $20 an hour to work at a fast food restaurant, right?
Oh no, we're
no. No. Oh,
I was ready. I was ready for that math problem.
You did me dirty.
That was rude. That was extremely rude. So while Aurora shops on YouTube advertising, how's everybody else doing?
You too.
Oh. You got this. I have faith.
Let's see how I did. Let us see how I did.
All right. Is that six figures? Are you making
no.
40
grand.
50 is just two exits and add a few zeros.
Okay, so
40K a year.
Okay,
full time.
40K a year.
Yeah.
So, and then if your husband or wife is also there, you're making $100,000 as a family.
Sure.
Both working at McDonald's.
80
Yes.
grand.
That is okay. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's 40 times 2. It's 80 grand. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Also, if you're going to talk about yearly salaries, then you should know the number 2080 because that's the number of working hours in a year. I mean, roughly, but basically.
I mean, and he.
And so then you should be able to multiply 2080 by an hourly wage and come up with a total. Which in the case of 20,
math
then
is
you add
hard,
a zero.
bro.
And, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
math is hard, but I don't. Maybe like if he just thrown in there so let's round up. Let's be generous. So you have a spouse who's at about the same level. Let's say you're making 100 grand a year. That's all that you had to say, and then nobody's going to stop you and be like 40 plus 40 does not equal 100.
And
let's think.
Somebody on some other because he's been ripped to shreds, and I'm joining the internet ripping to shreds party. In part because if you're I shall let the man continue for a moment.
Yes, sorry.
Crazy. That is crazy because that job really doesn't require much.
Sir, your job is talking on the TV.
Yeah.
Well,
also, that job really doesn't require much. I'm really tired of this rhetoric around minimum wage employment. It ranges from that job doesn't really require much to, that shouldn't, you should move on from a minimum wage job. That shouldn't be there. There's so many things wrong with that. First of all, moving on from a minimum wage job, if you move up in that company, it's a long road of having a salary that is graduated from minimum wage, but it's still an hourly pay rate that is based on minimum wage. it's not, and it just it makes me very angry. Makes me very angry. Also, if you've never worked in customer service, if you've never worked in food service, or if you are too fucking privileged at the point you are in your life right now, sorry for jumping off on that. But it's to remember what it was like to deal with the general public or food or, God forbid, both every day just to earn a stinking $20 an hour, which isn't even what most people in those positions earn.
No. God.
Don't talk to me. You have no, people are horrible. Food service is disgusting. People snap at you. And I don't mean snap like get angry. I mean literally.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a pet. Don't do that. No. Sorry. So I think there should be a humanity tax added on to the wages of anybody who has to deal with the general public on a regular basis, because people are freaking horrible. And Jesse Waters is a fabulous example of that. Thank you for playing.
You are welcome. Can you imagine this guy though? Can you imagine? Like, I was talking with my mom earlier and I was like, here's the thing. If we sent him to work one day at a fast food joint, one shift at a fast food joint, first of all, that would be horrible of us to do to any of the managers or anything there. Second of all, I can't think of anybody that would let him near the grill or the fryolator, because it would just be a liability at that point, because food service requires an understanding of food safety.
Yes.
And cross-contamination. And I wouldn't trust this man to pour soda on his own. Well, maybe I could trust him to do that. I feel like he's done that in his actual life more than once. But clearly we couldn't let him near the cash register.
Yeah. That'll be $100 for your 2 burgers.
He wouldn't raise anything like.
Woo!
He didn't factor in taxes. It was all just, so it's not, we're not talking take home.
Oh, yeah, no. In fact, yeah, don't even, I can't. If I get into taxes and minimum wage, my head will just, we'll not talk about anything else this whole video.
Even my camera's like, you fuzzy girl, it's,
yeah.
We're done. We're done.
No, I can't. So many arguments that I've heard against raising minimum wage, and none of them actually make any freaking sense. My favorite is the circular argument of, well, if you raise minimum wage, then small business owners will have to raise their price. Have you seen prices? Do you understand what's happening in prices? And what that does to people who are earning minimum wage when it doesn't change? So, I can't. Anyway, yeah. Good job. 40 plus 40 is 100. That's new math. That's the new math. Congratulations.
That's the, yeah.
And also, 2 people earning $40,000 a year, as you said, that's not what they're taking home at all.
No.
And also, people who are earning minimum wage or whatever, people who are working deserve to have better than like, I'm barely surviving right now lives. They just do.
That would be like.
Anyway, okay, I'm gonna stop now. I got.
I'll give you one more little tidbit, because according to did I double check this? No. Does it sound about right? It actually sounded kind of low to me. So I felt a little better when somebody looked up his what Jesse Waters makes for his job.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what we're doing right now. In case anybody missed it, I have a camera with a microphone and an internet connection. I'm doing what Jesse Waters does.
But we haven't put another picture of ourselves that drove me nuts. When you first pulled up that video, like, I don't know if that's his book or just his press photo. I don't, but
Yeah,
gross.
I think it was a
Like you're
both.
already here.
Yeah.
I don't need a photo to tell me who you are. Your face is right there. That's your face.
We
Gross.
see you.
You're gross.
But yeah, he apparently makes like $5 million a year. And if we want to talk about, I mean, the job that he usually works in, I believe, is at Fox News. And so there's like a team of people there that can do the pre-production and the script writing and stuff like that. I'm not sure how much of that he does do, because I feel like it's generous to call him a reporter.
Yeah. Mm.
I mean,
I feel like reporters can count. I'm just saying. I'm sorry.
All the reporters I've ever encountered actually can do math.
Basic math.
That is that simple. I mean, it's your basic times tables, which I suck at, and I can do that better. So I'm just saying, he couldn't work a minimum wage job if that's how he does math, because most minimum wage jobs involved dealing with the public and being able to count money. Neither of which seems to be his skill set.
No. And all it makes me think of is how we seem to like to pay people for being lucky in our society.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah, we do.
Not necessarily for working hard, but then again, the sort of work ethic suggestion comes up whenever I talk to people who aren't pro raising the minimum wage. And I'm like, but really, like, have you looked at what people who earn 6 figures or 7 figures actually do in a given day?
I mean, I would kind of like, there are those people that I've encountered who do make minimum wage and do not think it should be raised. They are few and far between. Most of the time that conversation goes, okay, I don't understand why you don't want more, a better safety net, but yeah, fine. You do you. I'm going for lifting your neighbors up is kind of my thing on that one. But for the most part, the people who tend to be like, why are we raising minimum wage? They haven't worked with the public. They haven't worked in one of those jobs, maybe ever. Yeah. And so they don't actually understand that. For example, just to work retail, I don't care if it's food service or clothing or anything, you basically need a psych degree to do that. And if you don't have one to start, by the time, I always used to say that by the time you've spent 10 years dealing in customer service, you have an honorary psych degree.
You should get one, yeah.
You can read a room better than almost anyone. And suss out who's going to be a problem and all of those things. So, we could go on. I'm going to swoop to pull myself down off of my soapbox, because we can make this a whole program, but I needed Mandy to see that
that's hilarious to me.
For some people, it's my new thing. Math is hard, bro. Like, maybe don't try if you can't reach a third grade level.
Well, also I know we have our moments where we're doing things live on our recording. That makes sense. But if you're gonna talk numbers, figure out the numbers beforehand. Because math is hard, and math under pressure actually really is a totally different thing.
Oh, math under pressure is horrible. Like,
it totally is. So don't put yourself in that situation. If you're going to talk salary, figure out your numbers before you start recording. Just a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And with another perfect segue of from out of touch to equally out of touch.
Yeah.
Oh, I have fun things. So we're gonna swoop. We have one more little tidbit that broke the other day. As we lead into the Baldwin thing. Okay. So have you heard, Mandy, that in a that Hilaria, is that how she says her name? Baldwin is thinking of becoming a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, I did hear this.
So apparently, now, okay, here's the thing. Like, I don't actually watch Real Housewives of anything.
Nor I.
I see the memes. Some of the people that I watch do watch Real Housewives, so eventually I know some of the names and phrases, but I promise you, if you hear me saying receipts, timeline, evidence, I know that comes from, I think, Vanderpump Rules, but I don't actually know. I realize I left that terribly there. So yeah, according to People magazine, and I pulled up People because they have had some of the most accurate reporting on some of these things as I've followed stuff. Yeah, so apparently Kyle Richards thought that the Bravo star 55 who was asked who her dream castmate would be if she could cast one person on the hit reality series. I have a new one, I think. The Halloween Ends actress told Kelly Ripa before adding that there could be one snag in her casting plan. She lives in New York, but maybe she would move. Yeah, I'm scared I'm going to mispronounce her name, but I think it's kind of fitting for the situation. Hilaria Baldwin. And apparently she's thinking about it, you know, in case things go poorly for Alec in trial.
They are looking for a reality show.
Oh.
Have you ever read? I don't know. I know people love reality TV. I'm just gonna keep that one inside. I'm sorry.
I mean, it can be fun, but yeah, they're now they were apparently pitching reality TV programs.
I mean, you've got your own reality TV program right now, Alec. I wouldn't be delving into reality any further than you're already in it, my friend. Reality might be about to bite you very strong, very deeply in the behind.
Yep.
Yeah. Not sure how much more reality you want to sign up for.
Yeah, I don't think that signing up, like, and they want their kids involved.
Oh.
And yeah. I mean, I'm fine with her becoming a Real Housewife.
Yeah.
But for a while, they were pitching this, like some of the articles I was seeing of stuff they were pitching was a little too TLC level.
Yeah.
Like John and Kate +8, kind of.
Oh.
No. Like all of the programs they were referencing Sorry, you go ahead. We're just
No, if people watching this aren't familiar with how hard being in entertainment is on children, I think we could refer you to many documentaries, news articles. So yeah, wanting to.
books.
How old are the Baldwin children, though? I don't know. Like, are they? Because
Like
it's not
one
like
is
Alec is
grown
like
and
young.
seems to be, yeah, but no, most of them are under.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They're all minors at this point, as far as I know, for Alec and Hilaria.
I realized I wasn't sure of that because
Yeah.
it's been a hot minute since I've paid attention to his family. So, yeah, wanting to, I don't know. That just doesn't sit well with me personally.
Yeah. No. Oh.
That was not a knock on Aurora's door. That was the sound of a hound dog's ears.
Yes.
I believe when she was shaking herself awake or off from being outside or just because it's time to shake.
It was waking up, I believe, from a dream, and I don't know if Taylor Swift got it from dogs or dogs got it from Taylor Swift. I'm going to go with Taylor Swift got it from dogs to, just shake it off.
Not to compare Taylor Swift.
No, it's a compliment in its own way. It's a brilliant thing to do. It's dogs do it frequently of like, oh, too much something. And they go, shake it off. So, me in therapy the other day, like, hang on a second, I need to be like a dog or Taylor Swift and shake it off.
Nice.
Because, it's important. Look at me moving and grooving. I'm, you know what it's time to do, Mandy.
Is it time?
It is time. It is time to go to the Snark Tank.
Done it. Nice.
Should I have brought up my file while we were doing that? Did I? Mm-mm. Absolutely did not. We're going to the Snark Tank. So there's been a back and forth for a while. Let's see. We're gonna test me. All right, can I make us bigger? I can't figure out how to make us bigger, so I'm doing that for right now. Okay. So before we get into the state's response to Baldwin's 300 plus pages of "We don't go here, please leave us alone," there's been a back and forth, obviously, between the state. So I'm going to go all the way back, and we're going to test my memory. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not have my notes with me on the history of this, so this is my memory alone, which is faulty at times. So that is my disclaimer. I may get some of this wrong.
You got this.
Just kindly correct me in the comments, and I'll fix it later. But going all the way back, we had the initial prosecution, the initial involuntary manslaughter charge.
Right.
But there was a bit of a kerfuffle because the original prosecutor was, at the time of the charge, also running for state legislature, and they won. And in winning their seat, there's a New Mexico law that says you can't enforce the laws that you are also making.
Yeah.
And Baldwin's lawyers were like, hey, you can't do this anymore. And they were like, okay, we can't do this. And they fought it a little bit, and then they backed off. And so what they did was they sort of took back the indictment without prejudice, i.e., we can still charge you again. But for right now, we're going to take a step back, and this is not over your head. Now, what I think happened is Baldwin was like, dodge that bullet, look at me go, which is not what happened. So then they bring in a grand jury. They present the grand jury with evidence, and the grand jury was like, charges here. And that has turned into a Baldwin's lawyers saying, but why are you charging me? You charged Hannah, and please leave me alone, and motion to dismiss and all of that. And the special prosecutor brought in just for this little round of things. We saw her during the Hannah Gutierrez trial. Ms. Carrie Morrissey is like, yeah, what we're not going to do is that. So, and the woman writes a snarky document. So Mandy has not seen this. You know what I've done? I have how many different people? I think I missed Scott's on RA. I of course watched it first with EDB and her take on this. And then today, because I was like, well, I could read the whole document, or I could get all the highlights from somebody that I haven't watched yet. So I watched Runkle's version of this. So I've listened to this quite a bit. But I don't know as you've seen it, Miss Mandy.
I've not.
Oh,
this is my first go.
So we are going to launch into this, and Mandy, please feel free to just I think you even have the power to mute me. You can just mute me. Because we're
oh my God. Yep. I'm sorry.
Would you like to jump in?
Too. Holy crap.
Oh,
the defendant's motion is a predictably false, misleading, and histrionic misrepresentation of the facts and circumstances of the history of the case. You know, I appreciate a bottom line up front. I really do.
We understand why we went with Shark Tank, just to launch right into this. Yep.
Wow. Okay, yeah. We're just going to read this. The two special prosecutors of Mr. Baldwin have experienced near countless lies and manipulation from the defense for more than 1 year. In addition, we have and certainly will continue to be the subject of the defendant's contrived and unwarranted personal attacks. Okay, can we stop for just a second and think about the other person to whom this could be applied, who is also going through court proceedings at this very present moment?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Think about the linkage there. I don't want to get into it, but if you know, you know, and most of you, I'm sure. That's hilarious. Okay.
I mean, they
8 total
twinsies.
Attorneys. Mr. Baldwin. Oh my God.
Okay. Shall I? This is fun. This is so far the most fun.
Whoa! We're crapping on lawyers now. The primary goal of Mr. Baldwin and his counsel, which now number 8 total attorneys, Heather LeBlanc, local counsel, who despite her reputation for hard work and competence has been relegated to largely menial tasks. This is crazy. Oh my God. We're just no prisoners. We are.
And this is when we get
New York,
into the
Texas, New York.
Is to ensure I'm taking over now for a little bit.
Yes, please.
That the case is not heard on its merits, and if it is heard on its merits, to discredit the prosecution, investigation, and witnesses in the media so that a conviction becomes unlikely for reasons that have nothing to do with Mr. Baldwin's criminal culpability. It is the job of the special prosecutors. I'm imitating her, not intentionally. It just sort of started to come out because it just there in the writing. It is the job of the special prosecutors to investigate the case and fairly and impartially prosecute the case, and we will continue to do so despite the defendant's relentless attempts to discredit and intimidate the prosecution and courageous witnesses who continue to participate in the struggle for justice for Helena Hutchins and her family. Given
the exhaustive nature, that was hilarious. Yes. Of the defendant's motion to dismiss, we will begin the response by providing a recitation of the factual and procedural history of the case as we know it. Wow. Okay. Let's start from the beginning.
It's a very good place to start. Buckle up.
Indeed.
Get your wine, get your hydration. You're gonna need it.
All right.
All right. Cheers. I'm having some wine for this, so.
I can't go straight from coffee to wine, or I would be joining you. Time was I could. That day is over.
Yes, I feel that. Hence, massive amounts of water.
Yes.
Okay. In October 2021, Mr. Baldwin began filming Rust on Bonanza Creek Ranch in Santa Fe County, New Mexico. It's story time, kids.
Indeed.
Rust is a story that was written by Joel Souza with participation by Alec Baldwin, and coincidentally is a story about a boy who kills a man due to an accidental discharge of a gun. Mr. Baldwin hired Mr. Souza to write the screenplay and sold the rights to the story to Rust Productions, LLC. Mr. Baldwin later became the lead producer of the film. According to the film's call sheet, Mr. Baldwin is the top listed producer and lead actor in the film. Sorry, that felt like a throwaway line.
Yeah. No, yeah.
See attached, which is the call sheet. Some of these I don't have access to because I am not an attorney. And some of these you can only get if you use attorney things. So this was Mr. Baldwin's project, in case you didn't know. And that fact is clear when viewing the many video clips from the filming of the movie and interviewing the crew members. Mr. Baldwin was in charge.
Having gone through the Hannah Gutierrez case, I mean, that was certainly how the clips that we saw where he was present seemed.
Mm-hmm.
Can't argue with that.
Definitely was that. Let's see. Rust Productions hired Hannah Gutierrez, a young and inexperienced armorer, to manage all of the weapons on the gun-heavy movie set, in addition to fulfilling her role as a props assistant. While it can't be denied that Ms. Gutierrez accepted the responsibility for armor and props assistant, Ms. Gutierrez was only 24 years old and was only legally permitted to purchase guns for a handful of years. So even though we took her to court, this is me not reading now. This is me paraphrasing. Even though we took her to court, even though we prosecuted her as well, like, we recognized that maybe you were more of a puppet master than you claim to be, sir. Okay. Back to the actual words. Oh, no, Mandy has thoughts.
No. Keep going. It's about the next word. So go for it.
In true Hollywood form, Ms. Gutierrez was hired as the armorer due to nepotism, as her father was a well-known armorer, gun handler, and gun coach. Your thoughts, my dear?
Well, yeah. It kind of circles back to that whole we choose to pay people for being lucky in this country, in this society. I don't just mean that's a U.S. thing. In this society, we tend to, yeah.
And there,
And it also just makes me think of the number of times that I have agreed to do something that wasn't necessarily in my area of expertise
Mhm.
to be able to bring home a paycheck or a bigger paycheck or be part of a project that I wouldn't otherwise be part of. And again, not that alleviates anyone's responsibilities, but it does complicate the chain of responsibility, as it were.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could know Hannah Gutierrez's age, background, etc., and choose to put her in charge of firearms on that set and not be considered responsible for that choice. I just don't.
Yeah.
That is
I mean,
not a legally binding statement. That's just my opinion.
I can see where nepotism can be a good thing. It's a whole different conversation. I can see where it makes sense at times. And I don't really care which profession because Hollywood isn't any worse than
No.
lawyers or doctors or literally any profession. So it's not extra heavy in Hollywood. It's just that it's more visible in Hollywood than it is in other professions because we all know the names and celebrities and stuff. But
Hollywood has more visibility. Yeah.
Right. But it's not actually I've worked in enough professions and enough family businesses and things like that. I can promise you it's not skewed more in Hollywood towards nepotism than it is towards literally anything else. But it does seem like maybe the choice was made because they could say dad is this, but not actually have to check a resume per se in that.
Yeah.
And that I think they were looking to force an armor that they could railroad. And I think they found one. So different kind of nepotism. But anyway, I imagine that the overall feeling is those Hollywood something. My brain buffered the word, sorry. I was looking for something. Elites didn't feel right. Actors didn't quite. Stars. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Celebrities. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That Hollywood celebrity. Many of the crew members on set, look at me going right back to where I was. Immediately noticed that Ms. Gutierrez was inexperienced and overwhelmed, likely with a healthy dose of laziness and bravado mixed in, because we're not going to leave the snark out here.
No, and there is not an inch of snark-free writing on this page.
Curiously, Mr. Baldwin, the most experienced member of all the cast and crew, seems to have missed what everyone else noticed. Hannah Gutierrez was not up to the job. Alec Baldwin arrived on the set of Rust on October 12th, 2021, a week after filming began. Because nothing says diva like waltzing in a week after filming.
Being fashionably late, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Baldwin's late arrival on set, and before everybody comes at me for maybe he wasn't on the call sheet till then, this next paragraph clears that right up. Mr. Baldwin's late arrival on set caused him to miss the initial firearms training offered to the actors by Ms. Gutierrez. Baldwin's late arrival made it necessary for Ms. Gutierrez to schedule a separate training session for Mr. Baldwin. Mr. Baldwin was inattentive during the training and spent the time during the training on the phone with his family and making videos of himself shooting the gun for his family's enjoyment. To see said videos, Runkle pulled them up because link, and played them, and his head kind of exploded. Little bit. Little bit. Because even blanks are dangerous, and he was just waving Baldwin was just waving.
Why didn't that come up in Hannah's trial, or did it?
Oh, it did. It did. Like, some of it did, but because it was more focused on her and it wasn't really relevant to the situation. Also, in the video, if I were her defense attorney, I would have kept that video out if I could, because it makes her look real bad too.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Upon arriving on set, Mr. Baldwin immediately began demanding the crew and armorer work faster because, he was the one a week late. Sorry, I added that part.
That's not in here? No, yeah.
Mr. Baldwin's relentless rushing of the crew on the movie set routinely compromised safety because Rust is not a romantic comedy. It's an action-filled Western with dangerous stunts and real guns being used as props.
I can hear her saying this.
Can't you though? It's so great. In addition to rushing the cast and crew, Mr. Baldwin was frequently screaming and cursing at himself, at crew members, or at no one, and not for any particular reason.
Wow.
She went full, he was angry man yells at clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the legal version of angry man yells at clouds?
I think so.
Sorry. To watch Mr.
Oh my God, yeah. To watch Mr. Baldwin's conduct on the set of Rust is to witness a man who has absolutely no control of his own emotions and absolutely no concern for how his conduct affects those around him. Okay, you used the wrong effects, but I forgive you.
I'm sorry.
Witnesses have testified that it was this exact conduct that contributed to safety compromises on set. Wow. I mean, I don't have trouble believing that. I have to say, I do not have trouble envisioning a version of Alec Baldwin that behaves this way.
And for ladies and gentlemen of the internet, Mandy does not watch the things I watch on YouTube. So the fact that she just said exactly verbatim what Runkle said is
really
because their brains sometimes work very similarly.
Apparently, I believe in grammar and spelling. I know it's like it's becoming like speaking Latin. No one cares anymore, but I still do. I do. I also took Latin. I'm just like I love things that are dead. It's great. That sounded so wrong.
No.
That sounded so wrong.
Shoot, that thought didn't make it all the way through the filtering process because it is 10:36 p.m. at this particular moment that we are recording this. You might be watching this at 10:36
I
a.m.
love things that are unfashionable. Let's go with that.
There we go.
So sorry.
We're good.
Yeah, I feel like Hannah is getting the short end of this too, which is like pouring salt on a wound, but okay. So the combination of Hannah Gutierrez's negligence and inexperience and Alec Baldwin's complete lack of concern for the safety of those around him would prove deadly for Helena Hutchins. Wow. I mean, we know this, but for some reason, this is making it hard to think about again. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she was a young cinematographer and a rising star in the film industry. And the stuff that she shot on this film is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it's an absolute tragedy.
It is. And he did the things when a scene was not being filmed and cameras were not rolling. Wow. I'm not going to read the rest of that.
No, we
paragraph.
can skip this part. We're gonna skip what we're gonna skip the journey of the little bit of lead because that's what was just there. Yeah, at the time, a scene was being prepared during which Mr. Baldwin was expected to slowly pull his gun from his holster. We
talked about this. I mean, in the trial, in the Hannah Gutierrez trial, we talked about this. We heard this talked about a good bit. That, that was the action was only meant to be pulling the gun from the holster.
Yep. Oh yeah. We're back to snark. We're back to the snark tank. Mr. Baldwin decided to go off script and take actions contrary to what the director, Joel Souza, instructed him to do. To the frustration of Mr. Souza, Mr. Baldwin did this frequently. He ignored direction from Mr. Souza without warning, acted on his own volition. Unbeknownst to Mr. Baldwin, Ms. Gutierrez had inadvertently loaded a live round into the gun, and Ms. Hutchins and Mr. Souza were shot. Ms. Hutchins died the same day. I'm still not 100% sold that it was Hannah that loaded it by accident.
Yeah, I sort of hate that that's stated here. And again, you've followed it more closely than I have. But to me, what I saw and what you and I walked through together of Hannah's trial definitely established that it was her responsibility to manage and maintain those props. But I don't think that they established that she was the one who loaded that bullet.
No, they tried real hard, but
that annoys me. That irritates me.
I don't think they got there. Yep. And I still
stating it that way here. It's like I object to your legal brief, which isn't a thing. That's not.
We can make it a thing. It's the internet.
I would. I mean, if I had the time, I would love to write a 300-page objection to that sentence. That would be kind of fun. It would have absolutely no legal force whatsoever, but it would be fun.
If you get the cat to help, it'd be 300 pages in no time.
Very true.
You could write your objection in a paragraph or a page and then just let the cat at it for the page count.
Just
who knows?
Play on my keyboard.
I have another friend with a couple of cats that would probably just hang out on the keyboard and lift them up when they're done. So. And let's see. Okay, I'm skipping ahead. Oh, wait.
Can you go back? I'm not going to read it out, but
I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
sorry.
Are we at he began nurturing his, I was just trying to skip out the harder
I
bits.
totally agree with that. Yes.
Yeah.
I just had not, read that, and I saw the name and wanted to. idea what's going on.
I'm going to let you read for a moment because my nose is reacting poorly to pollen. So
I feel that deeply. Yes.
I'm going to
Um,
hand this off to you for a minute. Let me scoot this to
So yeah,
there.
that's we were the part that we skipped over was not fun to read, but suggests that Mr. Baldwin was beginning to put first his narrative, put together his narrative of what happened and how this was not his fault, even while things were still scary things were still happening, right? So now we say, ultimately, Mr. Baldwin arrived at the sheriff's department for a formal interview and was left momentarily in the interview room after the video recording of the interview began, but before detectives entered the room to begin speaking to Mr. Baldwin. During this time, Mr. Baldwin, knowing that Ms. Hutchins had been critically injured and taken by helicopter to a nearby trauma center, and Mr. Souza had been seriously injured and taken to a local hospital for emergency treatment, began to make casual phone or FaceTime video calls.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. I have watched this video interview and
he's planning travel for his family to New Mexico.
Mhm.
I mean, so I'd just like to step back for a second.
Yep.
Everybody deals with traumatic events in different ways. But I think anybody connected to reality would not necessarily feel comfortable believing that they were still going to be in New Mexico next week or tomorrow, that they would be welcome there, that they would be that they would want to bring their family to visit them.
You mean you think that a person with human emotions, even if they were handling the stress differently, would maybe be focused on something else, knowing that 2 employees were just very severely injured and taken away in an ambulance, even if he doesn't know that Ms. Hutchins had died at this point.
But
You
wouldn't
think,
you be trying to get those updates? Wouldn't that be your focus?
Mhm.
Even for the most selfish reasons. This is like a disconnection from freaking reality. I don't understand.
Mhm.
Don't understand.
Oh, we can watch the police interview someday because I would like your take on that because I watched that and was like, "Sir, charges will find you."
Yeah,
Um,
that's crazy. I just don't. Okay.
and here we go. Yeah. And he was just like, no, we're gonna do this. Keep reading because it's there. Mr. Baldwin's minor daughter was going to have a small part in the movie, and his family. Thank God that didn't happen. Like
Right?
I just, lost my place. Small part in the movie, and his family was planning to join him in New Mexico the following day. During these calls, Mr. Baldwin asked that his family not cancel the trip to New Mexico despite the tragedy. He explained, "I won't work and we'll go enjoy ourselves. It's all paid for. They're not going to give us the money back." Because that's a totally human thing to say.
Oh, I don't. Wow.
Mr. Baldwin proceeded to provide a video recorded interview with detectives where he described the incident that led to the shooting of Ms. Hutchins and Mr. Souza. The high points of Mr. Baldwin's initial interview are highlighted for the court in the state's Exhibit A. In sum, Mr. Baldwin stated numerous times that Hannah Gutierrez handed him the gun before the incident and Mr. Hulls never handed him the gun. Mr. Baldwin stated on 2 occasions that he fired/shot the gun. Mr. Baldwin stated numerous times that he, referring to Mr. Souza, was telling him where to point the gun during the rehearsal, not Miss Hutchins. It is worth noting that Mr. Baldwin stated that Ms. Hutchins turned her body while speaking to someone else, and that is why she was struck in the armpit. Mr. Baldwin never stated during his lengthy interview with law enforcement that Ms. Hutchins told him where to point the gun or have any instructions about what to do with the gun during the rehearsal/blocking when the gun was discharged. Mr. Baldwin did state during his initial interview with the detectives that the gun just went off. I really hope it's said that way in opening
Yeah.
statements. I'm just saying. And he was not expecting a live round to be in the gun because nobody was. Because you're not. Sorry.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of round is in the gun. You don't point it at people. I am loud. My young person is staring at me.
Sorry. This is the point where we explode. This is the point where the heads start exploding. Live round to be in the gun, but stated he didn't pull the trigger. Yeah.
That's not how that works.
No. It's
Guns like they do magically explode, but only when you do that thing, which is pulling the trigger.
and the earlier videos where he's making these like Instagram influencer BS shots, he's firing blanks at the people around him, like at close range. I am not kidding. I will send you
Yes, please.
the Rumble
I'll look it up. I'll
video
look it up.
and stuff. Yeah, like every time that man gets near a gun, the way a weapon of any kind, it's I cannot imagine the years that man was on SNL. I cannot imagine what the stage crew went through with him and props. I just oh, my brain interrupted itself again. I said, sorry, my brain interrupted itself again. Continue.
We're missing words again further down here, but it's true that Mr. Baldwin consented to an extraction of his cellular phone by the Suffolk County Police Department, but only permitted a very limited report to be generated for New Mexico law enforcement to review. I would like to know how that works, but I'll table that for now. The special prosecutors learned recently that Mr. Baldwin has since obtained the extraction data from the Suffolk County Police Department, so it can, I assume, no longer be accessed by law enforcement. But we're missing no in there.
Yes.
That is kind of a big deal in a legal document. Anyway, should be. Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand how you pulled that one, Alex, but good job, I guess.
Oh,
bully for you.
Yeah. That's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
On December 3rd, 2021, after obviously having conferred with counsel. Sorry, guys, it took my brain a minute to make the
You're good.
sound.
Yeah.
Mr. Baldwin participated in a televised interview with George Stephanopoulos, which I've also watched, by the way. Mr. Baldwin's personal friend. I love the shade that she keeps throwing in here, like in case you were wondering. They're friends.
Yeah.
See states attached Exhibit B, which is the interview. During the interview, everything changed. And Mr. Baldwin, with the aid of his attorneys, lied with impunity and blamed the incident on Ms. Hutchins. He absolutely did that. Funny, she's not here to defend herself. Mr. Baldwin changed his story and stated repeatedly that it was Ms. Hutchins who was telling him where to point the gun and to point the gun at her.
Never.
In his shameless, I don't buy that for a second.
Would not happen. Nope.
In his shameless attempt to escape culpability for his own negligence and recklessness, he went so far as to say that he pointed the gun at Ms. Hutchins' armpit because that's where she told him to point it.
How would that possibly happen? Who? I don't understand. Yeah, right here. Point right here. Right there. Point right there. What the fuck is that? Sorry. Yeah. I don't have very attractive arms. Internet, now you know. I apologize.
I think they're fine.
What?
I find it very hard to believe that somebody that smart with her experience was going, no, just point it at me. It'll be fine, with his previous issues.
Not even with his previous issues.
Just in general.
You don't do that.
I do not believe that she was that unsafe. And it's funny that he changed his story to the person who is not here anymore, can't be called into court.
Yeah.
I growl at the Mr. Baldwin.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm skipping ahead. I'm sorry. Hold
on. Go for it.
On December 8th, 2021, Mr. Baldwin provided a recorded interview with Lorenzo Montoya of New Mexico, OSHA.
Mm-hmm.
In this interview, Baldwin's story changed again. He told new lies and doubled down on previous lies. Again, he stated that he didn't pull the trigger of the gun. In a surprising turn of events, Mr. Baldwin stated that Mr. Halls, the first assistant director, handed him the gun. So not Hannah.
Correct.
This was in direct contradiction to the numerous times Mr. Baldwin stated that Hannah Gutierrez handed him the gun when he was interviewed on October 21st. Mr. Baldwin again stated that Ms. Hutchins was telling him where to point the gun, to point the gun in her direction, and to cock the gun. How does one cock the gun and then act surprised when the gun goes off? I don't understand. Mr. Baldwin's new story to OSHA on December 8th included new misrepresentations that Seth Penny was on the set of Rust on October 21st, and that he heard this from very reliable people. Mr. Baldwin asserted that Seth Kenny was one of the people who may be responsible for providing live rounds to the set of Rust.
We have a point where I believe Baldwin on that one.
I mean,
sorry.
Yeah, no. Defense counsel have never provided the special prosecutors with the names of the very reliable people who told Mr. Baldwin that Seth Kenny was on the set the day of the shooting. When Mr. Baldwin planted the seed that Mr. Kenny was on set and provided live rounds to the movie set on October 21st, the digital evidence proving that the live rounds were on set long before October 21st had not yet been uncovered and disclosed. This was yet another falsehood put forth by Mr. Baldwin to deflect blame away from himself and onto others. I mean, here's my thing, though. If Seth Kenny brought live rounds to the set that day, that doesn't mean that was the first day that he did that.
Correct.
It's like...
Yeah. I have an issue with Seth Kenny's line in his police interview. He says something that I cannot shake, which is Hannah had to plan for people planting live rounds on set. Or something along those lines. I have an issue with that phrase because that is weirdly specific to the
Yeah.
particular notion, which is why I think what the malicious intent was, I do not know. Do I personally think that, first, let me state this. The only evidence that we have is that this was simply a really bad accident. The question is, was it a really bad accident due to a shocking amount of stupidity? Or was it a really bad accident because some nefarious behavior mixed with stupidity or ineptness, and we ended up where we are?
Well,
Go
ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I have a feeling that this filing is probably going to make Baldwin mad enough that he's going to testify. And I think somewhere in Baldwin's trial, perhaps on cross-examination, we're going to get some of this information.
I just don't know how he believe anything that comes out of his mouth ever for the rest of his life. But as the OSHA, I'm sorry, I'm jumping back in because I know it's getting late.
Fair.
As the OSHA interview continued, Mr. Baldwin's story took a very interesting turn. Mr. Baldwin vacillated between claiming he had virtually no experience with guns and almost daily experience with guns. Can I just tell you, this is not, I'm not reading anymore for just a second, but many times over the course of focusing on the Baldwin piece of this whole tragedy, and earlier on when it referenced, hiring this inexperienced person in Hannah to be the armorer, I don't know if any of you ladies out there have had the experience of, and maybe I don't want to say that it's limited to guys because I'm sure there are women who act this way too, but like the guy who's like oh yeah, no, I know about guns, I shotgun, guns, I know about guns. I mean, they can do it about many other things, but I almost wonder if part of the it's okay that we're hiring an inexperienced armorer because I'm Alex Baldwin and I know about guns. It's totally, I got this. It's not a big deal. I missed the safety talk and that's fine. I have no proof of that. I have no evidence other than 5 things that have come across in Hannah's trial and now in this document and in just other things I've read and seen. It's like, it just keeps tickling this part of my brain that's like, I feel like
in
Alex
his
was
police interview,
yeah,
Baldwin mansplained, there is no other word for it, to the 2 lady police officers.
Oh God.
How guns work and blanks and dummy rounds.
I can picture that. Having never seen any footage of that, I can picture it with shocking clarity and realism. Okay.
And of course, those 2 were just like, yes, tell us more.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Tell us more, sir.
Keep talking, big man. Please tell me all about guns.
Oh, that's
Specifically that gun
interesting.
that you were holding. Tell me more.
Sorry. Yes,
No.
that was where I was done with him. I was like,
Mr. Baldwin stated that he pulled the hammer of the gun back, but was not going to cock the gun. Anyone who has ever shot a single-action revolver understands that pulling the hammer back is precisely the action that cocks the gun, thus making Mr. Baldwin's assertion contradictory and absurd. Amen. Well, snark. Mr. Baldwin also stated that when pulling the hammer back, he did not hear the clicking sounds that the gun makes at quarter cock, half cock, and full cock while the hammer is being cocked. Whether Mr. Baldwin realized it or not at the time of his statement, when the gun handler pulls the hammer back on a single action array, cocking sequence. Well, no, I totally just lost my place. Sorry.
You are here. Single action army revolver.
And doesn't hear the clicks, it means the trigger was fully depressed during the cocking sequence. To an experienced gun handler, Mr. Baldwin's statement that he did not hear the hammer clicks is synonymous with the trigger being pulled.
How to tell me that you watched the Depp Heard trial without mentioning that you watched the Depp Heard trial, Miss Morrissey? I know where you were.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, it's a great use of the word, but it's also like, I feel like I would not be amiss in saying that she watched that trial, given some of the snark in here.
He then,
wait.
No.
Mr. Baldwin then made the false statement, I found it, that he did not pull a hammer all the way back. This assertion has already been disproven by forensic testing of the firing pin impressions on the spent casing from the live round that killed Miss Hutchins. Lucian Hagg's ballistics report finally, and despite his lawyer's attempts to mislead the state, the court, and the public about the functionality of the gun, Mr. Baldwin made a truthful statement and acknowledged that the gun functioned properly and that the only problem with the gun was that a live round was in it when you pulled the trigger. Sorry, I added that part.
That was not the only problem. The other problem was that it was pointed at another human being.
That too. That too.
Sorry, I can't help myself.
If you learn nothing from this trial, ladies and gentlemen, and these filings and this entire incident, it is this. Don't point a boomstick at anything that you don't want to go boom.
Even if it's not supposed to be a functional boomstick, even if it's not supposed to have live rounds in it or any rounds in it, even just don't. Just don't. Would you test whether or not a knife was sharp by sticking it into your own stomach? No. That's basically what you're doing when you point. It's just, don't. Yep. Just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I really love this sentence. And then I don't know if we want to keep reading word for word, but in sum, every time Mr. Baldwin spoke, a different version of events emerged from his mouth, and his later statements contradicted his previous statements and his attorney's assertions as set forth in their motion to dismiss. That is beautiful. That's the best sentence I've read so far, and that's saying a lot. That is a beautiful sentence.
We are fairly lucky. I'm going to continue for a little while. I will try and skip. I will say that while this is 300 plus pages, there's only about 20 of the shades. So, we can, yes. After Mr. Baldwin's interview with George Stephanopoulos, detectives became aware that Mr. Baldwin was claiming that the gun discharged without the trigger being pulled. Even though this assertion is absurd on its face, law enforcement was dedicated to a full and fair investigation, and in response to Mr. Baldwin's claims, the gun was sent to the FBI for forensic testing. This is to their claim of like, but you didn't let us test the gun. They're like, you said that you were, that it was faulty. So we said, okay, maybe that's right. And we sent it
off. Yeah, we gave you every benefit of the freaking doubt. No matter how crazy the things that emerged from your mouth. I just love that turn of phrase. No matter how crazy the things that emerged from your mouth, we went, maybe. We should double check if that is true. We should, because maybe it is. Maybe it is.
I'm I'm sorry. The FBI hit the hammer of the gun with a rawhide mallet on numerous occasions when the hammer was in quarter, half, and full cock positions. This was testing. It's all in the Hannah Gutierrez trial, but
Yes.
I have the sense of humor at times of a teenager, and hitting a gun with a rawhide mallet, I will never not envision a dog bone
Yes.
being what they used.
I just
That's not
also
what they used.
enjoy, I really enjoy the mental picture of these experts being like, you know?
Yes, yes. Or like the dude in the Murdoch
Wait, but
trial
wait.
that help. I
Uh,
threw my phone around.
And ultimately, they did all these things to test Mr. Baldwin's assertion,
Yep.
and ultimately and unsuccessfully tried so hard and so often to make the gun fire absent a pull of the trigger that the gun finally broke.
So in case you were wondering, sir, if we did this just to spite you, no, we tried so hard to prove that you didn't that what you say is
prove
true.
the whoopsie, yeah.
That we destroyed the gun. Case file was turned over. Okay, so I'm going to summarize this bit because it is delightful. I highly recommend going through it. Maybe we will again, but in the interest of zooming a little bit, and because I'm not an attorney, but there are some really great lines in here though. But what I'm skipping over is the allegation. So the initial prosecutor, state legislator, can't do the prosecution, take it to the grand jury. Some of what was in their motion to dismiss was like, hey, grand jury, we've got all this stuff that proves that Baldwin is innocent. Here you go. And the state went to the grand jury and was like, hey, they have all this evidence. It's here if you want to check it out. Grand jury went, nah. Nope. Don't need it. No, but really, defense says, and grand jury was like, have you seen the man talk? To trial with you. That I'm summarizing. That's my summary.
But I think it's a fair summarization.
And that should bring us down to Mr. Baldwin made numerous public appearances to spread misinformation about the case, protect his already tarnished public image, and try to sway the public and future jury in his favor. You gonna come for me? I'm gonna come for you, sir. As discussed above, Mr. Baldwin appeared on national television on December 3rd, 2021. Still annoyed with how close it was to the actual incident. And shamelessly lied about his conduct and blamed the victim for her own death. Absolutely what he did in that interview. On August 19th, 2022, Mr. Baldwin again used his celebrity status to sway public opinion concerning the details of the investigation into the death of Helena Hutchins by appearing on CNN for an in-person interview with Chloe Melas. I have not looked at this interview. On August 19th, 2022, Mr. Nikas appeared in an interview with Chloe Melas. How about I ruin all of these names? Sorry, guys. Prior to any charging decisions against his client being announced by the district attorney's office, Mr. Nikas stated that any criminal charges against his client would be a huge miscarriage of justice if I'm adding this, if you are detached from reality or New Mexico law. Just
Indeed.
A prosecutor is not required to stay silent under these circumstances. She was permitted to rebut the parade of misinformation spread about by Mr. Baldwin, his counsel, and counsel for Ms. Gutierrez. New Mexico Rules of Professional Conduct states a lawyer shall not make any extrajudicial or out of forum statements in a proceeding that may be tried to a jury that the lawyer knows or reasonably should know is 1, false, or 2, creates a clear and present danger of prejudicing the proceeding. That is a tongue twister that I would like to
It
see
is.
Alec start using before, turns on SNL or something.
Or announcing award winners, perhaps.
That, rules. Don't talk about it. Trying to skip ahead. I'm gonna let you. Where are we at?
Can you scroll back up for just a second?
Are we reading?
Yes, that's up.
Okay.
It is perplexing that Mr. Baldwin would complain about pretrial publicity when it was he who elected to appear on national news and use his celebrity status to publicly lie about the facts and circumstances of Ms. Hutchins' death. The prosecution is permitted to respond to statements made by the defendant and his or her counsel to lessen the adverse impact on the adjudicatory proceedings. That's another big word. I wasn't ready for a big word right there. I think the rest is just
thank you
about,
yes.
Yeah, I think that sort of, we're getting back into the fact pattern here of how a bill became a law, how the prosecutors were assigned, et cetera.
There's no, we have a little more snark. So I'm summarizing this bit of when the state and defense started to meet, because sometimes this can be a adversarial yet collegial interaction.
Oh my gosh. Mr. Nikas requested that defense counsel and counsel for the state meet in person to fully discuss the case against Mr. Baldwin, and the undersigned counsel graciously and naively agreed.
On April 12th, Mr. Nikas and his associate, Sarah Clark, flew to Santa Fe and met with the special prosecutors to discuss the case against Mr. Baldwin. During this 4-hour meeting, Mr. Nikas displayed a PowerPoint presentation. I'm pausing for 1 second because there is something in how that is phrased, and I can't shake it, that it's like, displayed a PowerPoint. Like, she's still mad about that PowerPoint.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the essential. This meeting could have been an email.
Yep. During this meeting, Mr. Nikas stated that if the case proceeded, he may call a variety of A-list actors to testify on Mr. Baldwin's behalf. This is where shit really starts to get good. By good, I mean beautifully snarky. The whole thing is a beautiful document. Mr. Baldwin's behalf, and specifically referenced Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren.
That made my eye twitch. That made my eye twitch.
What? Why are we calling Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren? Why did their names come up? Are they involved?
Yeah.
Are they? Where are they?
And I don't. It's.
Spoiler alert, they are not on the witness list for the defense. Gee,
Right.
I wonder why. Mr. Nikas went further and stated that if the case were to proceed, he would call Mr. Baldwin's supporting actor on Rust, Jensen Ackles, as a witness for the defense. He's also, I don't think, on the witness list, but I'm not sure about that. But also, okay. He explained that Mr. Ackles would testify that even though he personally checked his prop gun for live rounds routinely, he would not have checked it if he had been in the same position as Mr. Baldwin on October 21st, 2021. Nikas also asserted that Mr. Baldwin's position as producer on the film gave him power over creative decisions only, and that his contract spelled those limitations out clearly. Fine.
I'm sure.
Don't care. Probably didn't act that way every day. Just a guess. Nearly all.
Also, I'm willing to bet that his contract didn't.
Nearly all of Mr. Nika's statements to counsel during the meeting on April 12th would later be determined to be false or misleading. Now I feel like when an attorney says that about another attorney, it's generally a pretty significant accusation that you were liar, pants on fire is not something you go into lightly. In legal filings, as I understand it. I'm not an attorney, but I feel
this, again, the deadline for the defendant to list witnesses under rule whatever was March 1st, 2024, and not surprisingly, he has failed to list Mr. Ford, Ms. Mirren, or Mr. Ackles. In fact, undersigned counsel recently contacted Mr. Ackles and was notified that no one from Mr. Baldwin's defense team has ever reached out to him and requested he testify on Mr. Baldwin's behalf.
I feel like probably because it wouldn't do Baldwin any favors.
What's that statement? Even though I regularly check my props to make sure that there, that there aren't things in there that shouldn't be in there. If I happened to be in the situation who's going to say that?
I haven't looked up his interviews, so I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like her follow-up of everything he said was wrong means that he probably didn't actually say that in the police interview. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. Mr. Nikas intentionally made numerous false statements in his motion to dismiss, but one of the most shocking is his assertion that the defense proved to the state that the gun used by Mr. Baldwin was modified. On April 18th, Nikas emailed undersigned counsel 3 photos of revolver parts, 1 photo from the FBI examination of the gun. Skipping ahead, it's some more liar.
Hold on. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yep. And visibly different. They already contacted Hug, who was amazing. He was the one in Hannah's trial that didn't make half the courtroom
jump. Yeah. And like the judge reprimand them. Yeah.
Yep. Did not have personal knowledge. I missed one bit. Did I miss it? I don't know. Let me trigger the gun, had to pull. I'm trying to find I will go here. Oh no. There's I love the fact that this isn't rocket science. It's in this filing. That makes me happy. I'm searching for some pieces. We will see if I can find them. gun would not remain in the full cock position. The trigger still had to be pulled to drop the hammer after it was caught at the half cock and quarter cock positions. The defendant simply doesn't have a leg to stand on concerning his claim that the hammer of the gun was modified. He used this false claim to create delay in the prosecution of this case and now has complained in his motion to dismiss the case that the case has been hanging over his head for too long. Sounds like you're twinsies with somebody.
It does indeed.
I'm looking for
After receiving the forensic analysis. Sorry.
Oh.
You're fine.
Ah, there we go.
Forensic. Undersigned counsel was finally able to obtain the video recordings from the filming of Rust, which also clearly demonstrated that the gun was in perfect working condition every time it was fired by Mr. Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And the videos confirmed that he was a jerk and that his producer contract was completely devoid of the limitations promised by Mr. Nika. Not surprising. That's not. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that such contracts would be that carefully written in this type of production environment, if that makes sense.
Yep. And it was now October 2023, and the case was finally ready to be refiled. As disclosed in Defendant's Exhibit 4 to his motion to dismiss and previously to NBC News, in case you forgot, counsel for the state gave Mr. Baldwin the option of accepting a very favorable plea agreement rather than have the case proceed to grand jury for a possible indictment. Counsel extended this plea offer reluctantly, but did so with the intention of ensuring that its similarly situated defendants do not receive disparate treatment. They offered the same deal to Mr. Halls and Ms. Gutierrez, I believe. Baldwin didn't take it. Prosecutors.
I think it only names Mr. Halls in the document, not Ms. Gutierrez. But
yes, I believe that it does. I may be pulling that from other things with her that have come out. Prosecutors are certainly not bound by the philosophical notion that all similarly situated criminal defendants must be treated similarly, but undersigned counsel is not a career prosecutor. Rather, she is a career defense attorney and civil rights lawyer and believes strongly in issues related to fundamental fairness. She got her hackles up.
Undersigned counsel has learned some tough lessons about the consequences of her idealistic notions during her dealings with Baldwin's counsel and the series of events that unfolded as a result of the plea offer having been the toughest lessons learned to date. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stating approximately 10 days after the offer was extended and well before the deadline for Mr. Baldwin to accept the offer, undersigned counsel received information that Mr. Nikas provided all the details of the presumed confidential and privileged plea offer to a reporter with NBC News in New York. After determining that the reporter did indeed have all the details of the plea offer extended to Mr. Baldwin, undersigned counsel received additional information that Mr. Baldwin and his counsel were working with the media to generate a campaign designed to deflect attention away from any future plea hearing to protect Mr. Baldwin's public image. Counsel received information that Baldwin may accept the plea offer, but intended to file a civil complaint against the state of New Mexico and the former prosecutors on the same day as the possible future plea hearing to direct media attention to the frivolous lawsuit and away from the plea hearing. As disturbing as this information was, undersigned counsel was not inclined to rescind the plea offer simply because Mr. Baldwin intended to continue to use the media to escape the consequences of his actions, and his counsel had flagrantly disregarded the privileged and confidential nature of plea negotiations. Next, undersigned counsel received information that Mr. Baldwin commissioned, you're not drinking anything, right?
Nope.
Mr. Baldwin commissioned his own documentary about the death of the woman he killed and was actively pressuring material witnesses in the case against him to submit to interviews for his documentary. It was at this point that the plea offer was rescinded. Because what you don't, I'm not reading the filing anymore, because what you don't do is badger potential witnesses and then expect to get that plea deal.
Well, it's not just badgering potential witnesses, it's trying to get them to show you what they might be testifying to when called by the prosecution. That's here's
I think we're pretty much good now. The rest of this goes into, I might be missing some good stuff. But pretty much the best thing that we're missing is somewhere in there. They said grand jury didn't get enough information, and why didn't you do this, that, and the other? And she responds basically with, sir, what you've just asked me to charge him with is second-degree murder. What I actually charged him with is involuntary manslaughter, so maybe not your way. Maybe I picked a better charge. Just a thought. And then they brought all the receipts and transcripts and things like that. And I'm sure I'm missing something. Oh, no. I summed it up. I got there.
I mean, I don't think I have to spell it out for you or for our audience, but there are a lot of things that I can talk my way through. Like I said, people react to traumatic events very differently. I mean, personally, the most traumatic thing that I've experienced, I literally stayed at work that day at 14 years old. I just was not that I was like, okay, whatever. But my choice was I'm going to stay busy. I just can't deal with that right now. At the same time, as much as I want to give anybody space to care about their future ability to earn income, which ties into the public's opinion of you and ties into your, whether you take a plea deal or whether you actually go to trial or what you're all of those things. There should be space somewhere in there where the thing that occupies your mind is the tragedy that has occurred. And I'm not seeing any evidence of that whatsoever. And it sounds like we have a pretty good bird's eye view to Mr. Baldwin's activities from immediately following the tragedy through today, or through whenever that was filed. So yeah, that's where the disconnect lies for me.
And I mean, we understand that these are allegations. However,
yes,
it's a response, and she kind of goes through his allegations, and we're like, no. And if you were wondering, here's all the transcripts. Do you not remember, sir, that all of this is public.
These were recorded. This is like,
Mhm.
again, didn't we start our recording by talking about how stupid it is to record? Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Mhm. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this, raised by attorneys, friend.
Yeah.
Is this Ms. Carrie Morrissey going, testify, testify, testify? Or is this just like, children, let me remind you of the facts?
I mean, yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think it's also, it looks like there's a pretty solid case that both the defendant and the defendant's legal team
Mhm.
are careless, particularly when irate. So it feels like
Yeah.
maybe it's also just like not necessarily aimed at testifying, but just like, what else do you do? Keep talking. Tell me more about the guns that you were firing. Tell me all of the, you know.
Oh, wait, when I make you mad,
Yeah.
you spew actual facts by accident.
Yeah, exactly. Feels like
Hmm.
you might make a whoopsie.
I still, there is still a piece of the puzzle that isn't in the police interviews. There isn't that. Again, it's that I can't shake it, but I feel like it's going to come out in Baldwin's trial. I feel like that maybe is going to happen. So anyway, Ms. Morrissey, should you come across this, I created the snark tank for you.
Yeah.
You led me to the snark tank. That's a better way of putting it. You led me to the snark tank. And I look forward to using that again. Snark tank.
I love that. I love that.
Snark tank. I should, you know what? We're gonna use it one more time instead of the other swoop as we head into the end of our evening, because y'all have been with us for over 2 hours. I appreciate, or you skipped ahead to here. Either way, we appreciate it. But you know what, Mandy? We did 20 some odd pages in an hour.
We're awesome.
We are. All right. I'm gonna run this as we I'm sorry, ladies, and y'all have been here with us long enough to know that I get very proud of myself when I make stuff like that, because not sponsored. Canva does make it easy enough for me to do things, and easy enough that I can actually like doing some of them sometimes. I hate building those things, but every now and then I get it right, and then it makes me happy, and then I can do the thing. You know what I also didn't do? We're gonna have to swoop again because I forgot to hit the button to tell me where the timestamp is.
No. You got this.
So there we go. Now I know where the timestamp is. So yes, we handled that in about an hour, mostly because the snark was just beautiful. It was a beautifully written legal document.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was impressive. It really was.
I kind of want this taught in law school for how to write a beautiful, snarky document that has all the stuff that you need in there, but also provides the internet with weeks of commentary. It's great. It's great. Where else? Where are we going for next week? I don't know. At this point, I know
I don't
we
think
need to
any of
wrap
us
up.
know where we're going for next week. I really don't. I don't think
But
any of us know.
next week, depending on the state of life, the universe, and everything, I plan to go live on Wednesday next week. That's my maybe.
I plan to figure out if I can do that. That's what I plan to do.
It would be in the evening. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. That's what I have in my head, but as we learned this week, that was going to be my plan. But then it turns out I can't do 5 things all within the same 3 hours. It's not when all the things are longer than an hour. So,
You know, I just can't help but throw in there. I am a chronically late person. I really am. I think I always have been. You've known me long enough. I've pretty much always been a chronically
pretty
late
much,
person.
yeah.
But and I think there are 2 kinds of chronically late people. There are chronically late people who aren't having a panic attack the whole time that they are running chronically late. And then there are the people like me who are constantly, continuously having a panic attack. And the problem that I've always boiled it down for myself to the problem being I am overly optimistic about my time management skills. So I always think that somehow I can fit 5 hours worth of stuff into 2 hours. And it
Time
doesn't like
blindness is also real. And
life
it's a
experience
thing.
does not convince me otherwise. I just continue to believe I got this. No problem. Yeah. Leaving the house already 5 minutes late to where I'm supposed to be. I will break the laws of physics and I'm like shocked when I arrive and I'm 15 or however many minutes late. Yeah. So anyway, I had to throw that in there because yeah.
Time blindness is absolutely real. This is why I have 2 modes: 15 minutes late, half an hour early. I don't have an on-time function. I am either half an hour or more early. I am either stupid early or I'm 15 minutes late. There is no in between. Most of my people know this by now. In high school, we used to call it Aurora Standard Time. So as we start doing lives, hi. How many neurospicy people do you know that start their live stream when the live stream is supposed to start? You can roll in after 10 minutes and you might still beat us. Even we make a plan. 'Cause
it's true. But you never know.
You never know.
The other piece of this whole equation is the fact that every once in a while, just to truly fuck with you, we actually do arrive on time, or we actually do get 5 hours worth of stuff done in 2 hours. Just to give us hope, just to continue the optimism on into the future.
Just to prove to us that we can, in fact, fall into that wormhole. And so we always think we can find the wormhole, but that is an elusive little bitch. And no, and she's feisty, and we are
slippery.
Slippery.
Anyway, I'm a little giddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've hung with us for a couple hours, and I love that. And hopefully I will see you all in the chat because I am going to do the live I haven't decided if we're doing Sunday evening or if we're doing Sunday brunch time. I'll talk with Mandy about that after we say goodnight to all of you guys. But I think I can feel that brain buffer thing starting where it is almost midnight, and I feel like pumpkin syndrome is coming.
I think we gotta say goodnight.
Quick. So thank you all for hanging out with us. I'm going to go ahead and roll the outro, and we will see you next week.
Like, subscribe, do the YouTube thing.
Thank you. Yes, do the. I will remember to do that in the first hour. Maybe
Someday.
next year. Maybe next year. Yes, do all the YouTube things, please. Thank you. Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Unfiltered Tea. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you have a story you want our unfiltered take on, go ahead and drop it in the comments, and we will see you next time.